Welcome ladies and gentlemen, my name is Nesh and we are playing Kerbal Space Program. So we are here in the vehicle hangar or flying hangar, I can't remember the name. So we're gonna take the science bottle out on the runway because that's actually a very easy science that I didn't even thought about getting. All we have to do is transport ourselves here and look at all that easy science. We didn't have to do anything. I'm just loaded my science bottle that I have saved, so we have all our science stuff here. Cool. So that's it. Is our first task done for this episode. Okay, so we get 18 science. This puts us over 45, so we are able to actually buy upgrade. If I play so smooth, one of the reasons I play smoothly and looks like I'm it really looks like I'm why my English fails me. Yeah, the reason I play so smoothly is because often between episodes I kind of think what are we gonna do in the next episode, so I kind of have a general idea what we're gonna do. So what we're gonna do in this episode is first gonna build a rocket that can... Okay, let's just get rid of all the stuff we don't want. We're gonna build a rocket that can go to the orbit with a scientist and a pilot at the same time. So we're gonna go out of the atmosphere, orbit, curving this Earth-like planet, and while having stuff we can do there. And I think one of the things I had some viewers contact me, and this is I know this is a concern, so I'm gonna for you. I know some of the viewers has been really concerned about the health reasons and stuff. So yeah, as you can see, if we zoom in here, all my rockets is 100% transfat free, so you don't have to worry about that any longer. So now that we have cleared that up, so we don't have to be afraid of health reasons, we can start building our rockets. So one of the cool things we got when we upgraded in the last episode was the crew, something where we can put your crew in here. Okay, I'm just gonna change that number to 45. So now we can have 2 extra crew, as we can see by the 2 windows, so we can have 2 crew. So this will be what rocket people call our payload, and it was not very much work for me to do, as we already built the science bottle, so we can just modify it for our need here. But my concern here is not the transfat, but we have a big payload, and I'm not sure if our normal parachute, we usually use this one, so I'm actually going to go with 2 big ones, and I will set it to double there. Oh no, you can see my logo, so let's put it like that. So now when we have the heavier payload with all our stuff here, I think a better parachute is probably needed, and I'm not sure, I'm not expert, I don't have enough experience to know if that is needed or not. So next thing we needed to do, we need a condom, what I call a condom, to save us when we penetrate the atmosphere. We will burn up if we don't use a heat shield. So now we have a heat shield. Okay, cool. So next part, of course, a coupler. So this is all the stuff we're gonna land with. I think I will save it to last. I'm about this a lot in my head how to do this, and I'm hopefully will be able to pull this mission off, even if I think it will be quite hard. After all, this is fairly early in the game to put a big rocket like this out, but I think we will be able to do it. So I choose this rocket because if you look here, the Mach thrust under ASL, that's not H6 location, that it means that was a thing in the past on the internet. People always asked me, people that ASL's A6 location, that is at sea level, if I have understood that correct. So, but you look at the vacuum at Rust is 60, so it's more than enough. So this will be the rocket we will be using when we're trying to make our orbit, but then we're gonna be in vacuum because we will be outside of atmosphere, so we don't need a very powerful engine at all. So yeah, so I think we'll be fine here. So let's add more tanks. We can see the delta V on the upper part. The first engine is 2000 and you need about 4000. So yeah, of course I'm gonna overdo this so we can make this rocket leave the atmosphere and orbit and come back. So I'm totally gonna overdo it. So this kind of were the parts I had when I played offline, so I'm familiar with them. So this one is more powerful, has more thrust than this engine, but as I have told you guys before, this engine I really like that it adds some control, and as you can see, the delta V will get bigger and bigger on the last stage here with our payload and stuff. Let's close this. This will become more and more powerful as we are putting this part higher and higher up in the atmosphere, where the atmosphere is thinner, so it will be more effective. So actually the last part we are building here is the most powerful part, because this part is gonna do the heavy lifting and putting us out up in the atmosphere, so we really need it. So I'm gonna be using boosters. When I see in other YouTube people that are a lot more skilled in this game or understand this game better and are smarter than me, they don't really like boosters, but yeah, I'm thinking they are good tools. Maybe I don't need them in the later game, but it really helps out to get an extra mileage for not a very big price. Okay, so let's see if we can place that really straight. That was... oh no, I attached it directly to the rocket. So this part is the same kind of part of that one. When we are done, used all our boosters, they are rockets that only go on one speed, so when they are empty we can get rid of them, and that will make us less fat, so we have an easier way to push ourselves instead of carrying them around with us, because... so yeah, this is definitely a critical part. So I'm trying to... That looks okay. I'm thinking I'm gonna want to place them a little bit lower. Yeah, because yeah. Awesome, so we have 5 more parts to use before we reach our limit, and we have all the critical parts done, so... Now, okay, the thing I see, we should have 3 stations. We probably don't need more than 2, but we need 3 stations, so let's do it like this, and we will do there. So as you can see here, our last stage with our payload, with our stuff we need, that is 100% transfat free. So you can see that we have a lot of delta V. We have a lot more delta V than we know, but we really need to be able to leave the atmosphere with these parts we are using here. But otherwise this engine will be too weak to push ourselves on frame. So we really need to leave the atmosphere. So I'm saying that again. So what we will do, we'll double up, make ourselves sure here. So yeah, as you can see, that went up to 5,000 now, so that's awesome. How many parts? We need 2 nose cones, and I want something to be able to steer this rocket, because as soon as we have dumped our boosters, it will be one very long rocket, and we must be able to control it so much. It's not a really big problem in vacuum to control the rocket, but when you are in atmosphere, it's traveling a lot, you have drag, and the air is pulling you places. So we need fins. So I have a choice here, as I can't afford. You know, there are nose cones. I'm gonna show you guys. Let's see, where is it? Is under the air. That will make those. That will make them not. They will not push much the air, but we'll not use that for a very long time. These rockets here we'll hardly use them for a very long time. So I'm gonna risk it here. And now a thing I have learned about this game. It's easier to place the fins when there are no parts here, and then I can fit the other parts here. So we're gonna put our fins here, and that will help us control the rocket. This is how they're gonna look without the boosters. So at least we have some kind of control when we have a swivel engine in there, but it's still a huge sharp rocket here. So let's set this to symmetry. Let's see. Awesome. As you can see now, our fins fits, and we have reached the maximum parts. But I think this is more than enough to take our rocket out to space. I'm gonna lower this one, so as you can see the thrust ratio is going down a bit, and it will burn a little bit longer, but I'm just not want to go super fast with the boosters, especially when they have no cones. I have no clue when I'm gonna be here, yeah. So we are a bit limited here. We have stay with the essential parts to make our mission possible, so yeah. And that cost us a part. That's your fault, viewers that care about health and stuff. Yeah, so what should we... This is not a science bottle any longer. This is something greater, so we're gonna call it Orbital Bliss. That's a good name. Yeah. No. Transfats. Yeah, I know you. You guys. Oh, my stupid humor. It's only me that laughs at my jokes, but at least someone likes my jokes. So, in the next episode, we're gonna launch this fantastic Orbital Bliss with no transfats into space. Orbit our Kerbin, the Earth-like planet. We're gonna orbit it and collect all the science we can need. Oh man, that was good that I thought about that. First of all, we can't have Yemadiah. He's not the right guy to have, so we don't trust him. So the only guy we're actually gonna need is Bob. But Bill, he will just go for a ride, because things what happen when you go into the atmosphere and orbit the Kerbin is that you gain 2 XP, so every of our kerbals here will level up. Okay, so let's make a foolproof overview what we have built. We start with this is gonna happen. We leave our launch pad with help of our boosters. When they run out, we drop them so we don't carry around that extra fat, and then we will use our swivel engine until we run out of fuel, and then we'll dump it. At this stage I'm hoping we are into the orbit, because we have our smaller carrier engine here with not a lot of thrust, as you can see, but is actually more than enough thrust if we are into a vacuum. So we really hope that, and then we do science outside the orbit. We orbit the whole planet a couple of times, get all the science, all the XP, and then we start to braking ourselves, falling back Kerbin, and then we will dump this, our heat shield. Probably we have some fuel to brake our descent, and then Our heat shield will protect us from the heat because if we travel on the high side. So our 3 kerbals, if we have 2 kerbals here, we have Valentina here, and then we will, when we go below 10,000 meters, we are in the thick atmosphere again. We will launch both our parachutes and hopefully we will land safely. And that will be the whole mission in the next episode. And as always, thank you for watching.